Welcome back everyone, welcome back. Good morning. Let's continue. Evolution. Today we're going to start a theory given by Lamarck. So we call it as a Lamarck theory of evolution. Lamarck's theory of evolution we're going to start today. Okay? Lamarck is a scientist who gave the theory of evolution on the basis of some postulates, and we need to know that postulates. Okay? Before that, first we need to know that Lamarck's theory of evolution is known as Lamarck's theory of evolution of inheritance of acquired character. Okay? Lamarck's theory of evolution is known as theory of inheritance of acquired character. Theory of inheritance of acquired character. So Lamarck's theory is also called as the theory of inheritance of acquired character. That means we will discuss that. Due to change in environmental condition, some organisms they adapt themselves with respect to the environment. So some organs they utilize for a longer period of time. Some organs of the body they do not used. Okay. So whatever the organs they are in use every day, day-to-day life, that is the characters that is inherited from generation to generation. And whatever the organs in body is not utilized for a longer period of time, that organ got extinct or no longer in use. That's why his theory is known as inheritance of acquired character. Okay, whatever the organs has been utilized for a longer period of time, that organ has been inherited from generation to generation. And whatever the organs was not utilized due to some reason, that organ got extinct. We're going to talk about that little later now. So that's why this theory is known as his theory. His theory is known as inheritance of acquired character. Okay. One more term you need to know that Lamarck's theory, the Lamarck he postulates his theory based on the study of fossils along with the existing living organism. Okay, so his theory is based on the study of fossils along with existing living organism. We need to study the postulates given by Lamarck. There are some postulates, 4 postulates given by Lamarck. So we need to see that. Basically, Lamarck's theory is based on the inheritance of acquired character. That means due to environmental changes, due to change in environmental condition, some organism they adapt themselves. The organ they adapt themselves with the change environmental conditions. So some organs of the living organisms or animals they are in continuous use, and that characters has been inherited from generation to generation. and some organs with the change in environmental condition are no longer in use, or they are not able to use in any function. They are useless. So those organs got extinct. We're going to talk about it. That you remember. Which theory is known as inheritance of acquired character? That is Lamarck's theory. Okay, and his theory are based on the study of fossils along with the existing living organism. So he carried out this experiment, or the postulate that he had given was based on the study of fossils with respect to the existing living organism. Okay, so next we need to see the postulates given by Lamarck. Okay, and very easy. Clear your concept. You don't have to memorize. There are some postulates stepwise we will study. You can write it by your own. Okay, I'll just explain it. Write it by your own. So we need to see the postulates now. Postulate. According to Lamarck, due to change in environmental condition, some new need arises. Here we can take one example, which is given by Lamarck. During the evolution of life, according to Lamarck, he says that there was a donkey kind of animal. Okay, doesn't look exactly like donkey, or it doesn't look exactly like horse. It's just like a donkey kind of animal, which feed on small plants. Okay, the height of the animal was short, just like a donkey. Listen carefully. Okay, so there was an animal, donkey like animal at that time. So that animals, they feeds on a small plant body. The height of the animal was just like a donkey, so the donkey feeds on small plant body. Okay, but due to some environmental condition, due to some change in environmental condition, okay, it's according to Lamarck, he says that there was a huge climatic change occurs. Okay, adverse environmental condition changes occurs, which result in the destruction of all small plants as well as some other living organism. Understood? Due to some adverse change in environmental condition, all small plants got destroyed, as well as some living organism also got extinct, like for example dinosaur. Okay, according to Lamarck. So somehow that animal could survive, but now for that animal it becomes difficult to feed on the small plant body, because all small plant body got destroyed due to some environmental change in some environmental condition. So now dead animals had to feed on the tall plant body only, because there were tall plant body remain, all small plant body got destroyed. So that particular animal, for them it become difficult to feed on small plant body, so they have to rely on tall plant body, because the height of the animal was small. So what happened now? New needs arise. due to change in environmental condition. New needs were they have to feed on the tall trees now because all small trees got destroyed. So new need arise. So next what happened? All those are said by Lamarck, not me. Okay, Lamarck. So that animal now they start to stretch their neck to feed on the tall trees. Let me draw the diagram, okay? Let me try to explain with diagram, rough diagram, just so that it makes easy for you to understand. It's kind of, this chapter is kind of fairy tale. Interesting chapter, easy chapter, but important. So that animal, they start to stretch their neck to feed on the tall trees. Again, I will explain that again with diagram, okay, later on, wait. So they start to use, that means the new needs arise. The new needs were to feed on the tall trees. So they start to stretch their neck, okay. So next what happened? Use and disuse. Whatever the organ they utilize or they are in use for a longer period of time, that organ or that species or that characters has been inherited from generation to generation. So the new needs were to feed on the tall trees. So the use were their neck. They start to stretch their neck. As a result, the necks become long. Okay, the neck become long because they are in continued use to feed on the tall trees, the leaf of the tall trees actually. So neck started to become long. As a result, now we know as giraffe. Okay, giraffe. Before it was donkey-like kind of animals, according to Lamarck. Due to new needs, they start to stretch their neck, and the neck become long. So that is the character that is inherited. Now that character has been passed from generation to generation. Now the next generation, the offspring is born with no longer with the small kind of animal. The offspring is born with the giraffe kind of animal now. Okay, so as a result, new species has been developed or formed. That is the Lamarck's postulation. First is new needs. What were the new needs? New needs were they had to feed on the big trees due to change in environmental condition. Then use and disuse. So whatever the organ they use, they inherited in next generation, and whatever the organ is not in use, that organ got extinct. So the use organ inherited. So next postulate will be inheritance of acquired character. Okay, so that character that has been inherited to next generation. So next generation is born. So new speciation or new species is formed, which we now know as giraffe. So whenever we talk about Lamarck's, the example are giraffe. Okay, he given the example of giraffe when he discussed his postulation or when he gave his postulation. Okay, so let me explain one more time now with diagram. Try to look at the diagram. Okay, so during the evolution of life, at the initial stage when all the animals were formed, the plants and all other living organisms, there were small trees as well as there were big trees also. Herbs, shrubs were there. I'll write a postulate that side. So there were big trees, small trees, grasses also, herbs, and there were many animals. including dead animals, which look like a giraffe, or not giraffe, initially say, which looks like a donkey kind of animal. Okay, there is no any particular name. He just mentioned that the animals which it looks like a donkey kind of animal. So that animal, okay, so they were donkey kind of animal which feeds on that small trees, the leaf of the small plant, because the height is that much. So they feed on the small tree, the leaf of the small tree. This animal here. There were some other animals too, okay, at that time, like dinosaurs were there, and some other animal, and all got extinct due to some change in environmental condition. Okay. So the animals, it looks like a donkey that feeds on the leaf of the small plant. Okay, so they were living happily at that time. But according to Lamarck, there has been a change in climatic condition, adverse change in climatic condition due to some reason. Okay, a huge, big fireballs that falls from the sky. These are the sky. Big fire falls start falling from the sky. As a result, all small plants as well as some big plants also, they got destroyed, as well as some other animals. Okay, due to some adverse change in environmental condition, all small plants as well as some big plants and some other animals, it got destroyed. But somehow this donkey kind of animal could survive, because maybe the animals were very clever at that time, so somehow they could survive. Okay, after hiding in a cave or somewhere. So after change in environmental condition, or due to the change in environmental condition, all small plants on which these animals are fed on, it got destroyed. As a result, it becomes difficult for this animal to feed on the small plant body, because due to the change in environmental condition, all small plants, it got destroyed. So new need arise. New need arise. New need arise for this animal. So first thing, new need arise. Due to the adverse change in climatic condition, all small trees got destroyed. As a result, a new need has been arise for the animals which feed on small plant body, which feed on the leaf of small plant body. So new need arise. Okay, new need arise. So all the small plants got destroyed, as well as dinosaur. Maybe dinosaur was not clever enough. That's why all become extinct. So these animals survive somehow. As a result, due to the change in environmental condition, new need has been arise. What is the new needs? The new needs were these animals now had to feed on the leaf of tall trees. Okay, the leaf of tall trees. So to do this, they use this. To do this, they use their neck. They start to stretch their neck to feed on that tall trees, to feed on the leaf of tall trees. So they use their neck continuously, every day, every minute. So they use their neck. They start to stretch their neck. Okay? Continuously. To feed on the leaf of tall trees, because there were no small trees left due to these fireballs or maybe due to some reason. So they use their neck. They start stretching their neck. Okay, from here they start stretching their neck. If we do any, if we keep our organ, if we use our organ every day, that organ starts to accumulate that characters. Okay, in our body also. If you do it for a longer period of time or for every day, and that characters we accumulates even in our body also. If you give your hand like this for every day for a longer period of months or year, it will remain like this forever. You cannot bend it down. Okay, if we do like that every day, all the time, if you keep doing that, it is going to remain like this. It's not going to bend down again. That will the organ that going to use. Okay, for example, in our body, that is the organ that we use. So we use. So whatever the organ that we do not use, it become disuse. Okay, originally it is like that, but we make it like this. So it is in the use form. So disuse, it got extinct. So this part like this, it got extinct. So there will be the new character that we inherit, or we pass from generation to generation. But there is an exception. We're going to see that. So they use their neck and they stretch their neck to reach. The shape of the neck become irregular. It is straight. Okay? Yeah. So whatever the organ they are no longer in use, it becomes disuse. So from this original shape of the neck, it becomes like this now. Okay. So this organ become disuse and this organ become use. Why use? Due to the change in environmental condition. So due to change in environmental condition, now they had to feed on. Then we make it a little bit beautiful. You don't have to draw in exam all those, okay? This is for you to understand. You can draw in your copy, but no need to draw in exam. You just write a postulate. So use and disuse. The next postulate. So first is new needs. New needs arise. Why new needs arise? S. It should be S. New needs arise. Due to the adverse change in environmental condition, all small plants got destroyed and the animal which feed on that plant, they will no longer exist, so they have to rely now on the leaf of the tall trees. So that is the new needs arise. Okay, write your one sentence. First try to understand, write your one sentence. Then the use and disuse. So next is to feed on the tall leaf of the tall tree, they use their neck. So keep stretching their neck all the time. So that is the organ they use. Okay, and the organ which was in the original state now no longer in use and it become disuse. Understood? Okay. So that is the next postulate. Next is inheritance of acquired character. So that is the character now this animal acquired. Okay, अभी ऐसा एनिमल से ऐसा बन गया. So that is the new characters that animals acquire from the donkey kind of animals. Now it become giraffe. Now we know. You can give the example of giraffe. Okay. So that is a new character with a long neck. That is the new character now that animal acquired. So that character now that animal will inherit from generation to generation. Inherit means pass. Okay. So that characters, whatever the characters now that animal acquired, that characters now that animal will pass to his next generation. So next character will be postulate is inheritance of acquired character. So that is the character that acquired, and that character will be passed from generation to generation. Now as a result, in the next generation, new species has been formed. Now we know as giraffe. From the donkey kind of animals, it has been transformed or it has been evolved into new species, that is giraffe. So in the last postulate, that is speciation. Okay, that's it. Very easy, right? You need to remember is the postulates given by Lamarck. So these are all said by Lamarck. Okay, not me. It is all said by Lamarck. And you know this chapter is a controversial chapter. Still, scientists are working on that. It is not completely true, but still we follow the Lamarck's theory, Darwin's theory, but they are controversial still. But we have to follow, right? Still, for now, we have to follow until and unless a new, appropriate theory come. We have to rely on that theory for now. Okay. In future, if possible, you can give some new theories relating to evolution. Okay. But now we have to follow this. So Lamarck's theory is called it as an inheritance of acquired character. Postulation. The first is new needs. Due to the adverse change in the climatic condition, some new needs arise for some animal. The animal which feed on small trees, they all got destroyed. Only the big trees were left over. Okay, not only trees, as well as some animals got extinct due to change in environmental condition. So as a result, new need arise for the animal which feed on the small plant body. Now, to rely on the big trees, they use their neck to feed on that small, the big trees, the leaf of the big trees. They keep stretching their neck for a longer period of time. So that is the organ they use. And the original organ, which was small neck, they remain disused. As a result, that organ got extinct. As a result, a new character has been acquired. Now it looks like a giraffe. The neck is long. Okay, from the small neck, the neck become long. Now from that particular animal, it has been evolved into a giraffe kind of animal. Now we call it giraffe. So that is the character that acquired, and that character is passed to the next generation. So inheritance of acquired character. So in the next generation, the offspring is born with long neck, not with the small neck. So new species has been formed, speciation. Okay, so that is a Lamarck's postulation, but still there is a exception. Yeah, definitely biology is an exception chapter. You will always get an exception. We're going to see that exception. So the example that supports Lamarck's postulation, you give the example of giraffe. Okay, and there are some example which goes against Lamarck's theory. We're going to see that. I hope you understood. Okay, now all the time, every year, evolution is taking place. I have said it in my first class. Every year or every month, every day, the evolution is taking place in our body also. With the change in environmental condition. The environmental condition is not constant all throughout the year. The environmental is changing every day. Every day, environment is changing. Okay? Before, our temperature was very cool. For example, if we take the example of Guwahati, maximum it reaches up to 33 or 35. 33 approximately. The temperature reaches up to 33 during summer time. Now it reaches up to 40, even 40. The temperature is changing. Okay, I'm giving the example of Guwahati. Now to adapt that temperature, our body cells also changes. Otherwise we will die. If we cannot able to tolerate that temperature, we will die. So in order to adapt that change environmental condition, our body also changes, our cell changes with the change in environmental condition. Not only us, not only human, even other animals also changes. That's why every day, I should say every day, the evolution is taking place. Okay, now we look like now as a human. Maybe after many years or 100 or years, we may look different also. Okay, we may not look like now after many years. So the evolution is taking place. Before it was like that condition. Okay, so that is the Lamarck's postulate. Remember. So the example that supports Lamarck's theory, it is giraffe. You give the example of giraffe. Okay, I hope you understood. New need arise due to the change in environmental condition. New need arise for the animals which feed on the small tree. So they have to rely on the tall trees. So they use their neck to stretch. They use their neck to reach upon the tall trees. They keep stretching their neck. So that organ is in use, and the organ which was not in use, they become extinct. So disuse. So that is the character that is inherited and is passed from generation to generation. So the next offspring is born with new species. Now we call it as a giraffe. Okay? Okay. Just 4 postulates are there. So simple. The diagram you can draw in your copy, but don't draw this in exam. Okay? Don't draw this in exam. It is for you to understand, because if you look at the diagram, we remember. We can easily remember the thing. We cannot forget, we cannot remember words, we remember images, right? That's why. So the example that supports Lamarck's theory, that is the giraffe. Now next we will see the example which go against Lamarck's theory. The exception of Lamarck's theory. Let me just write exception. Exception of Lamarck's theory. So after giving these postulates, the Lamarck become famous. He becomes so famous all over the world. So when people become celebrity, people get jealous. So exactly, some scientists now they go against Lamarck's theory. There's a scientist named called August Weismann. He postulated another theory against Lamarck's theory. Maybe he was jealous because Lamarck got famous. He became celebrity. So August Weismann, he postulated another theory. His theory is known as continuity of germplasm. Remember, okay? His theory is known as continuity of germplasm. All those are important from entrance point of view. The question comes like that. Continuity of germplasm was given by which scientist? So they will give you 4 options as well, like that only. So theory of inheritance of acquired characters is given by which scientist? 4 option again. So you should be very specific. August Weismann, what he did, he performed an experiment on mice. Okay, this is mice, okay? Male and female mice. I hope you have seen mice in your life. So mice has tail, right? Tail. So he took male and female mice. He cut the tail of both the mice. He cut the tail of both the mice and allow them to reproduce. After cutting the tail of male and female, he allowed them to reproduce. Now the offspring, the next generation he observed was the mice with tail, which is against Lamarck's theory. According to Lamarck, what Lamarck says, whatever the characters that is acquired due to the change in environmental condition, that character is passed from generation to generation. But here, it doesn't happen like this. It go against Lamarck's theory. So they cut the tail, okay? August Weismann. They cut the tail of both the rat or mice. So that is the character now both male and female acquired without tail. So that character should pass to the next generation, right? But it doesn't happen so. So this goes against Lamarck's theory. Now remember one thing, the August Weismann performed this experiment for about 20 generation. 20 generation, okay? He did it for 20 generation, not only first generation. Again, he allowed this mice to reproduce with another mice by cutting the tail. Again, he allowed that mice to reproduce with another mice by cutting the tail of both mice. Again, he found out that the second generation is with tail. Though it doesn't look like a mice, but just consider it as a mice, okay? It is not important, it is just to understand. So he did it for 20 generations. So all the time he found out that the offspring is born with tail. So which goes against Lamarck's theory, okay? Lamarck's theory. So it was first proposed by August Weismann. Continuity of germplasm. For he did it for 20 generations. He took a mice and cut the tail. There's one more scientist who goes against Lamarck's theory. Pablo. The name of the scientist is known as Pablo. What he did, Pablo? Pablo had a dog, okay? He trained that dog. Whenever it is time for lunch or for dinner, he used to ring a bell. Okay, all the time, whenever he give lunch or dinner to his dog, he used to ring a bell all the time, every day. So the dog now acquired that character. The dog knows now. Whenever the bell rings, the dog knows that it is time for lunch or it is time for dinner whenever the bell is ringing. So that is the character the dogs acquired. Okay. So after mating, that is after reproduction, the offspring, the first generation of the dog, the offspring should acquire that character, right? The Pavlov shouldn't have to teach that again, because the dog has already acquired that character. Whenever the bell rang, dog knows that that is the time for lunch. That is the character dog acquired. So when the offspring is born, the offspring should acquire that character, right? But the Pavlov again had to train that dog. That Pavlov had to train that dog. So he had to train that again. So that goes against Lamarck's theory. Pavlov, dog plus bell. That's it. Write over one sentence. So whenever it is time for lunch or dinner, he used to ring a bell. So whenever dog hear that sound, the dogs come for lunch or for dinner. So that is the character that acquired. So the next offspring, they should pass that character, but it doesn't happen. So Pavlov had to again train that dog. Okay, so which goes against Lamarck's theory. There are many exceptions of Lamarck theory. Many exceptions. There are again some examples like people who used to do tattoo in their body, right? That is the character that he acquired. That character that he should pass to his offspring, to their offspring. The offspring should born with the tattoo in their body, right? So that doesn't happen so. So this goes against Lamarck's theory. There's one more example. Some people with huge muscle who used to go to gym, muscles like Arnold. That is the character that they acquired in their lifetime, right? So they should pass that character to their offspring. It doesn't happen so. Simple, right? Simple. So this goes against again Lamarck's theory, but still we follow Lamarck's, and all those theories are again not completely true, but for now we rely on that theory. Okay, so that is the exception of Lamarck's theory. One more thing you need to remember: all those Lamarck's postulation was written in a book. The name of the book is known as Philosophic Zoologic. Okay, all those Lamarck's theory, the postulation, everything was written in a particular book known as Philosophic Zoologic. The name of the book, written by Lamarck. That you need to remember. The example that support Lamarck's are giraffe. The example that do not support Lamarck's are those. Remember, I'll give you two examples. Okay, there are many examples. So this is all about Lamarck's theory. Remember his postulation. There are four postulations: new needs, use and disuse, inheritance of acquired character, speciation. Okay, and Lamarck's theory is known as inheritance of acquired character. His theory is based on the study of fossils along with the existing living organism. That's it. So in the next video lecture, we will see Darwin's theory. Okay, Darwin's theory.